Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. It's Kristian Harloff Show here today on this Wednesday solo show. And boy, oh boy, was there a lot to talk about. I just got back from, I can't call it a vacation. I was gone for like 7-8 days, but a lot of shit went down. But back. And I'll tell you a lot of stuff that I heard while I was away. Not only from you guys, but from my daughter talking about Stranger Things. And she, even last night, flying back into town. And oh my goodness, all I kept hearing about is the conformity theory and Stranger Things dropping another episode. I don't think it's happening. I don't think it's true. I think that it's wishful thinking. But there's a lot of stuff that you could go, wait a minute. If they do it, especially with all the things that could be set up as clues, it could be one of the most brilliant things of all time. Or it could just be bad writing. We'll see. We'll talk about that. I'll give you my thoughts. I know you guys talked a bit about it yesterday, the potential regime change with Lucasfilm. But is it really? Sebastian Stan up for the Batman 2. Warner Brothers says, get out of here, Paramount. We don't care about your hostile takeover. Shove it up your ace. So, that and more on the show here today. It's Kristian Harloff Show. You ready? All right, me too. Here we go. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being here. I'm excited to have you here. Lots going on. And thank you to everybody who was holding it down while I was gone. Winston and Chris, Roca and Winston, Roxy and Mike. And Mike Joyce. We're going to have words, buddy. Words. I had to delete one of Mike Joyce's comments. What are you doing? I don't like late treats Mike. What are you doing? I've known this guy for 30 years. What are you doing? You don't know the sense of humor. And Mike, you know how much I love you. Everyday supporter. Get lost. You got to be part of it. I have found my New Year's resolution is I'm sick of it. Not you, but I'm sick of it. Sick of people not understanding what this is about. Especially when it comes to, I said it a lot with the reactions in Game of Thrones. It's kind of a bit that we did. Even someone yesterday was like, I think people sometimes hear things when it comes into their ear and then it registers wrong. There was some guy yesterday, and he's like, I don't know about Kristian saying Filoni doesn't like Andor. He said JJ and Ryan hate each other. So I don't know if it's true that he hosted the thing. Never once, ever said that they hated each other. Never. You will never find a quote where I said the two of them hate each other. I've never said that because it's not true. I said they weren't fans of each other's movies. They weren't going to listen and pay attention to the movie that was set before them. That is fact. But it goes in here, and then if this starts to formulate a thing that pops into their head, and then they go, "Oh, that's what someone said." No, it's not. Stop this. That's the name. I think that's the name of the new show. It's no longer the Kristian Harloff Show. It's just going to be called Stop This. Stop this. You gotta understand, I'm on serious jet lag and other things that's going on right now. You guys know from last week, people who were in here, that I missed on we weren't sure if we were going to make our trip to Los Angeles on when the hell was it? Last Tuesday. My daughter had gotten, well, we thought she was getting sick. So we're like, okay, she's too little. I don't want her to, she's getting sick, get people sick on the plane, and she's going to be, it's going to be bad for her sinuses in general while she's up there. And it's just, we're not going to be able to find flights. Luckily enough, she bounced back pretty quick. It was just, maybe it was allergies, whatever it was. And we had to, and we booked a flight the next day. We were able to get out of town. And we did. So what I'm not going to do, and I've been contemplating this, is mention the hotel that we got in Tuesday night. And it was raining all in Los Angeles too when we got there. It never rains in LA, but of course it was raining when we got there. So we got there and it's later at night. And so, well, first of all, my father-in-law picks me up. God bless him, us up. And he's a cowboy through and through. The man has a pickup truck in Los Angeles for some reason. I don't know why, but he does. It's a beautiful pickup truck. It's gorgeous pickup truck. It is huge and takes 87 minutes to make one turn. So not only that, raining in LA, putting suitcases in the back of a pickup truck, not the best for the suitcases when there's not a cover to be had. So that wasn't great. Then we got some food. We had the kids wanted in and out, so we got in and out, and we did that. So then we get to this hotel. Now, I say this is not a flex in any means because it was not that kind of hotel, being people just associate that right away. The hotel was in the Beverly Hills area, but it's not. Oh, whatever you think in your head, put that out of your head. It's a hotel in that area. Good rate. Eaten at the restaurant in this hotel many times, thinking this is going to be a good spot. So we get there, and when we get there, the staff, I will say, very nice. We check in, they go, okay, we'll take you to your room. So we're in this hotel, and there's this pool and everything. So we're like, okay, great, it's going to be nice. Well, they take us out of this hotel into an alley, and then we go into this alley, into this other building. Shouldn't say new, because it certainly wasn't built. My wife is convinced she saw a prostitute coming out of this place. I did not see that, but all I know is now my little one didn't know what the occupation of this person was, but she knew that she didn't like the outfit that the person was wearing because apparently she made this face. So then we go and they say, okay, this is the building. Then we get into the building and the elevator squished us in like this. And we go up. My 14-year-old, not fan of heights in general, definitely not fan of an elevator that goes like this when you need to get to 2 floors. So that was fun. So then we get into the room, this bright green rug, and there's beds that hobbits would have problems sleeping on. I'm about 6 feet tall. My wife is average height. I have a 14-year-old who's pretty tall, and the little one probably could have been okay. These beds were atrocious. Gross floors. Looked like they hadn't been cleaned in forever. I couldn't believe, and for the rate, for it was, like I said, not too fancy, but enough that really, no. And I'm pretty easy when it comes to this stuff. My wife was like, we can't stay here. I said, no, I don't think we could. Because normally I'm like, and I said, I don't know where we're going to go. It was New Year's Eve. So December 31st, and here we are, and it's raining outside. We decide not going to do it. So we leave. So luckily enough, my mother-in-law lives not too far away. She was at dinner, but we walked with 2 kids, jet-lagged, raining, suitcases already shit, hungry. Not too hungry, we'd eaten. Tired. And then we go and we walk to my mother-in-law's place. Now, mother-in-law lives by herself, has a nice size apartment for herself. But for a family of 4, sleeping was challenging. So we got an air mattress brought to us by my nephew who was in town. Unfortunately, it was a bum air mattress. So my wife and I are trying to sleep on it, and it was deflating as we slept. That was fun. My little one was sleeping on this pull-out thing that she was fine with. She weighs 50 pounds if she's lucky. 52 pounds. I slept next to her. I pretty much took a pipe in the back the entire night. Felt terrible. So the next day, the first priority was to find a hotel, and one that wasn't going to break the bank. I don't know how this happened, but I got very, very lucky. And I found a hotel in the area that I'm going to there was a hotel that was really nice. I'll just say this, that we stayed at, and we got a good rate on it. And that was the shining. Like, we got a really nice place that we stayed at for the duration of it. Now, unfortunately, the vacation that was supposed to be turned into a thing where it was more, I'm gonna get into details about it, but it's more family related things, of things that we had to take care of with people who we love, and people who are getting older, and other things that we had to do. And it became less of a vacation and more about what you should do when you get older, is making sure that your family's okay. And that's really, we hadn't been back since we moved. So that's really what it was. I felt bad for the kids. The kids got screwed. They got screwed. There's a Disneyland trip planned. We were literally on the road to take these poor kids to Disneyland, and something happened with the family and something else, and we had to turn around. It was heartbreaking. It is still in my heart. We had to turn around. We were literally there, and first of all, shout out to our regular subscriber Fernando, who hooked this up. We're on the way there. I will tell you details of this, and only a little bit, and it will break your heart so badly. It destroyed me, and it still destroys me. And the only reason I'm saying about it is it's almost like therapy to me. We were driving to Disneyland, listening to Disney songs, the whole thing that you do. The 14-year-old felt like she was 7 again. The 8-year-old had the mini dress on and the ears on and everything, talking about all the rides. We're picking which rides we're going to go on and all this stuff. And we're right there. We get a phone call. We had to turn around. It literally, the pain in the tears of the 8-year-old will live with me forever. It was atrocious. So bad. And the answer is, did we have to turn around? The answer is yes, we did. We had to. If I go into it more. So that was a kill. And that was the Monday, because like I said, the majority of the trip was, I can't say ruined, because that's not really fair. It was not the vacation that we thought it was going to be, because it became about a thing of obligations you need to do as you get older to take care of family. It's just part of what comes with growing up and getting older. It's just part of it. And the kids were the ones who got, kind of hitting the nuts, even though they don't have nuts. But you know what I'm saying? And I thought Monday we'll make it up to them. Taking to Disneyland, that should be a good thing. And that got taken away too. It sucked. My wife and I went to the Critics' Choice Awards. We ate ice cream and grapes. The event was great, though. Had a really good time at the event itself, but you heard about it. You know how much I love the Critics' Choice Awards. I think it is the most relevant. It is the most relevant awards ceremony, I believe, out of all of them. But they got to do something about the food at this thing. They have to. Look, and I will, all the people that I know, that I love, that are on the high board in this thing, they got to do something about the food. Wetzel's pretzels and a couple cheeses and grapes. It's got to change. You can't. I don't care what you give me. If you want me to leave after eating ice cream and grapes, I'll find some. I went to In-N-Out afterwards again too. I'll be okay. You can't give. What if Meryl Streep was nominated for an award? You can give her grapes and Wetzel's pretzels? You can't do that. But I guess they can. I don't know. Anyway, so that was my week. I did get to see a bunch of people, which was cool. I saw Roxy, I saw Mike. I know they mentioned it yesterday. I saw a bunch of people. And I can't believe, first of all, Roxy, first thing she said that I never watch the show. Of course I do. I was listening to it, watching it. They never watch the show. Do you think Roxy is going to watch this show? Unless Mike Joyce goes and tells her right now to watch it. There's no way she's going to watch the show. And Mike either. They don't watch the show. They're not on it. And that would tell you why they don't know what Jeff Schneider, if you're Schmo, I mean, both of them, Schmodown manager and a Schmodown Inner Geekdom champion, didn't know that Booker T was the whole reason we said Jeff Schneider. That's how he said it. So that's it. Anyway. So it was good to see a lot of those people. I saw Ellis, obviously. Ellis was the first. Always knew it. Ellis. Dennis Zen came by. That was really cool. I love Dennis. One of my favorite people in the world. Great guy. Came by, talked to him for quite a bit. There are a few, lots of people. Ash Crossan, Jen Sturger is there. Chance to talk to Jen for a bit. Shannon, Mike. It was nice. It was nice. Trying to think if there's anybody else that I missed. I know that they mentioned it yesterday. Winston was there. I talked to Winston for a bit. So yeah. Anyway. And then I also saw the news, and we can get into this real quick about because I saw it when it came through. Someone had tweeted at me about the Filoni thing, and I saw. Well, I spoken to Jeff Snyder about it when I was talking to him at the hotel, and he said that the news should be coming pretty soon. And then lo and behold, this report. Now, this isn't the official news, but I did some snooping around, and as I said on my voice note yesterday, it's pretty legit. And I said it again on the thing. I just don't know if it's the right choice. And I also said on my voice note yesterday, I root for them. Who doesn't? If you're a Star Wars fan, you want them to prove people like me wrong. You want them to say, no, we're going to turn this whole thing around. But the problem is, it's not like Filoni has been creatively handcuffed while Kathleen Kennedy has been there. He's been able to do a lot of things that he's probably going to continue to do. Maybe we'll greenlight a couple more things that he's got to take to the studio, obviously, but he's got to be able to say, okay, we're going to take this to the studio, maybe more things that maybe she wouldn't have. But he's still making the same creative decisions now. I just feel like we're just going to get a bunch of live action cartoons. And I think that's a problem. I think that he's pretty much set about just making Star Wars for kids. And there should be Star Wars for kids. Of course there should be. But there should be projects like Andor and more projects like Andor. And I don't know if we're going to get stuff like that. And I definitely don't think we're ever going to get books adapted and those types of things. I don't. Just going to get bad dialogue and other things. And maybe look, I'm hoping I'm wrong. But for him to run the whole thing, I don't know where that. I don't know. I also don't know if whoever. I don't know if Iger needs to sign off on these things or not. Maybe it's just a Kathleen Kennedy thing. I don't know. Maybe she just names her successor and takes off. But like, I just don't understand how you look at the last few years of results and say, oh yeah, everybody who's here now, they got to lock down. Let's continue it. They needed to bring in I think somebody else because it's still the same coaching staff. But sometimes, to basically contradict what I just said before, sometimes when the head coach is there, and maybe you even are allowed to call a lot of the same plays, and maybe the coach does let you do some stuff, but you're still not the head coach. So when you're the head coach, maybe you can do a couple more things that you couldn't do in the past. Maybe the some of the stuff that we said, what's he doing there? Maybe that's some of the stuff that she guided him in a way that he said, well, now I'm not going to do that. Now I'm going to try to do something else. So we'll see. Animator, I'm going to ask you a question. Who said there's hate for Filoni? Who used that word hate? Did someone in the chat use the word hate for Filoni? I want you, Animator, to your next comment should be as my question. Who hates Filoni? That's a question I want to. Hates. That's a word that you use consistently. I hate people consistently using hate incorrectly. So I would like you to explain yourself, good sir. Anyone who says hate, oh, you hate this. No, hate. What does the word hate really mean? And use that. Don't just spurt it out. What does that mean? Do not hate the man. I actually have met the man and interviewed the man many times. I think he's a very good person. I think he's a nice guy. I think that he is, I think he cares a lot about Star Wars and everything else too. I am not a fan of his creative choices. I don't like the way he does certain things. Hate? I don't hate that man at all. I actually like him a lot. I think he's a very good person. So don't do that. Don't do that. It is a problem with society in general. Exactly. Criticism is constructive. And it's also in how you do it. Another example. So you're not answering. So, Animated, look, I will put you in timeout if you don't answer. You can't say, it is Jenny the hate for Filoni is wanted. I have an understanding of what that sentence means. So, when you say dislike, not a fan of, example, when I was talking about the Game of Thrones reaction the other day, the last one that I released, I said it is warranted to say, hey, you shouldn't spoil certain things and be careful when you're watching these things, because if you say this, you might change her point of view when she's watching it, and you might spoil something unintentionally. Say, that's fair. That's constructive criticism. That's fair. You stupid asshole. Shut the fuck up while you're talking. You shouldn't talk and sit. You're gone. I don't need you anymore. You're out of here. No one wants you on that because you aren't contributing anything intelligently. That's what people say, oh, you can't take constructive, you can't take criticism. That's not criticism. That is just screaming at the top of your lungs. Constructive criticism is what I gave you that example for. Animator, you still haven't given me an answer. You're on the clock. You've got 20 seconds to give me an answer. And then I'll put you in timeout and you can come back later. But that's it. I need an answer. Your next comment, choose it wisely. Explain, how do I hate Filoni? Explain that. You've got 20 seconds. All right. So what else? I will say, I believe that we will have a chance to see Filoni, and I'm not as familiar with the woman, right? So maybe that she's going to kind of play like the Saffron role. Okay, so that's not an answer. You're in timeout for now. All right, so I feel like that we've got the Saffron type 2, because that's really the other thing with Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm isn't just Star Wars. It's other things. They mentioned Indiana Jones. Now, I think what Filoni is very good at is the animation side. I believe that he should do an Indiana Jones animated series in the vein of what they did for that last video game. You get the same dude who voiced Indy in that one and give it that tone and do an animated series for Indy. That could be where Indy really lives. in animation. Animator, what do you think? I'm kidding. I know you can't talk right now. You come back and you tell me what you think. I want to know, what is the plan? Are they going to do more stuff? Because the business decisions, and I think that's the reason why Filoni understands he can't run the executive business. He don't want to do that. Why would he want to do that? In the same way that Gunn doesn't want to do that. Gunn doesn't want to do that. Gunn doesn't want to be on the business side of things and all that stuff. He wants to run the creative. He wants to do that. And that's the mistake, though, that I think that someone in the room did. I think someone in the room said, oh, it's kind of like the Saffron Gunn situation. Filoni has that much experience in this side of things as opposed to the James Gunn here. And James Gunn's having a problem with it right now. Not in a problem where he's failing, but it's a lot. Now, we also have not seen a movie from Star Wars since 2019. We won't see a Filoni movie as far as creatively and greenlit movies and all that stuff until 2030, right? Something like that, 2029. Because you have Mandalorian and Grogu, which is coming out, which is a Filoni project, but it was greenlit under the Kathleen Kennedy regime. You've got the Starfighter movie, which is under the Kathleen Kennedy regime. If the Rey movie happens, Kathleen Kennedy regime. If the what's his face Mangold movie happens, Kathleen Kennedy regime. If the Taika movie happens, Kathleen Kennedy regime. Now, what could happen, I don't believe it will, but what could happen is if Filoni says, okay, well, we're in charge now. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to see how Starfighter plays. We're going to give some updates and see what Mangold's doing. And then it's all off the table, and now all our movies are coming in. That's what I would do. But I don't know if he's going to do that. And plus, he's close with Kathleen Kennedy. He's probably going to say, because she gets her producer credits and all that stuff on there too, and that's how she's going to be making even more money, because she'll have all those producer credits on all those movies that get set up, and it's probably part of the deal. So we'll see. Nonetheless, we are getting a new era in Star Wars, it seems like. So now the question will be, is it really a new era? Is it really? We'll find out. So, that being said, trying to Luke, what did Roxy and Mike have yesterday? I think, what did they have? I think they told me yesterday. I think it's 83 or something like that. He told me. I'll get the final number on it right now. It was 87. 87 was the number. So, the good news is I have 3 so far. First show back, 3. Fucking perfect. Let's get to well, you know, I'm going to tell you about Raycon. I'm going to tell you about Raycon, and then we'll get back and we'll talk about this Stranger Things thing. Here you go. This message is sponsored by Raycon. It's Raycon's anniversary. What a better way to celebrate than with a deal on the Everyday Earbuds Classic. They're now 20% off. It's the perfect time to get your hands on these. They're reliable, they're super comfy, and easy to take anywhere. You're going to see why they've been a fan favorite since day one. I just got back from Los Angeles. I was on the plane and I didn't take my Raycons out my ears. I love them. They have they block out sound, but I can still hear people if I need to. If my daughter's like, hey, Dad, I need this, I can hear it, but I still am so locked in. And they have the personalized ones that they can make. I have the Yankee one that they sent me. It's great. They're classic. They're great. I love it. So they also have these everyday features that live up to the name. There's a quick charge. 10 minutes will give you 90 minutes of playtime. That is fact. Up to 32 hours of battery life with the case. Awareness mode, perfect. If I'm walking the dog, running errands, I can stay tuned to what's happening around me without missing a beat. Plus, over 3 million customers already love Raycons, and they come with a 30-day happiness guarantee. You don't love them, returns are easy, so you have nothing to lose. Again, I absolutely love Raycons. I had them everywhere with me. I was at the hotel, had them. Took some walks, had them. Did everything I need with my Raycons. I love it. They're so perfect. They fit in my jacket. I have a little zipper that I keep them in, and I don't go anywhere without them. Go to buyraycon.com/Kristian. Get 20% off the Everyday Earbuds Classic. You won't regret it. I promise. I love Raycon. All right. Thank you to Raycon. Big fans of Raycon. I really did use them often. I mean, I had them. I still have my jacket is like tucked in there. They're the best. I go everywhere with them. Okay, so I was going to get right into the Stranger Things thing, but I have another story, and I forgot about this story, and I can't forget about this story because the day that on Monday when we took, we were supposed to take the kids to Disneyland and it got screwed. We wound up taking them to this park that we used to go to. Remember, it's been raining, so it's finally clearing up. So we take them to this park. My little one is finally getting happy again. She's climbing all over the place in this place. My 14-year-old was the one starting to get sniffly and stuff, but she's still this park. We used to take her when she was a kid, and my wife was there. We're like, you know what, let's just do this family thing. And we played like freeze tag, and it was a nice family moment. And there's this open field. It was great. It's a park. So as we're playing towards the end, the way that it gets ended is it is not a dog park, mind you. It is a park. People take their dogs, but in situations like this, you put your dog on the leash unless there's an area that there's a dog place and you let the dogs run around. You just don't let them run around in the field, especially if they're like, was it Cesar Millan trained? Okay, fine. But if your dog has that much of a chance of doing something stupid, you keep them on a leash. We were point in case in point. Either way, they're both a case, they're both a points. So see what's happening? See the flea. So we're playing hide and seek. Even the cops don't want me telling this story. So we are in the field playing freeze tag. And my little one, she's little. She's like a little doll. She's running. And this dog is off the leash. It was like a Wheaton or whatever the hell it was. And it starts running towards us. And I'm like, is this thing goofy? And it starts not like viciously, but nipping at my daughter. And I'm like, hey, get out of here. So I don't know what it's going to do next. I've seen shit go down and my dog is scared. My little one is scared. So I was like, get out of here. So finally, the owner comes running over with the leash. And my wife goes, it's not a dog park. She says, it's not a dog park. Please put your dog on the leash. So then, as we're walking past, let's just get the hell out of here now. We're walking back, and there's this woman sitting on this blanket with this dude and a little chihuahua. Chihuahua's on a leash. So we walk by, and we're like, first thing I say to the guy is like, is the chihuahua okay? Because I didn't know if the big dog, and he's like, yeah, he's fine. I was like, okay. So my 14-year-old, chihuahuas can be nasty, by the way. And she walks by, and all my 14-year-old says is, oh, a chihuahua. This shitbag of a woman who is sitting there, the typical LA filth. When I say this, as far as like what the worst part of what you think about LA, this is what this woman was. She was horrendous. She goes, oh, look, a human, to a 14-year-old. My daughter didn't say, oh, a disgusting chihuahua. She went, oh, a chihuahua, because she got scared. And she went, oh, a chihuahua. And she's like, oh, a human. And I was like, are you really getting upset at a 14-year-old? Well, she shouldn't have said anything. She didn't know what it was. And my 14-year-old, I'm sorry, the dog made me nervous. She's like, a little dog makes you nervous. Why are you fighting with a 14-year-old? Even if you felt that the 14-year-old said something to you to disrespect your dog. I understand love for dogs. I understand that. I understand protecting them like children and making sure if you thought if someone was insulting your dog, address the parents who are there. And you say, hey, did your daughter just insult my dog? Then I would have said to my daughter, did you just insult her dog? And we would have been cleared up that quick. This woman was combating my 14-year-old. And I was getting heated in my head. Plus the fact I went to the car because what I didn't want to do, because the husband was sitting there and to his credit, didn't say a word, nothing. Didn't say anything because he didn't want anything to do with this. And I didn't want to get upset at this woman and say something to make him have to get involved. I didn't want to do that because eventually if I say something as a husband, he's going to have to stand up and say something. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm getting in the car. It's my daughter. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's go. Let's leave. But this is a very short, abridged version of what happened because this woman was going after my 14-year-old. She was awful. The absolute, I hope she sees this. If you do, you probably won't. But if you do, you are the worst person I have ever met in at least in the last 2 months. You are atrocious. Your husband should go find something else because he seemed like a decent guy. So don't, even so y'all got done dirty, wait, because the story ain't over yet. I get into the car with my kids. And I knew, I know me. It was the right thing for me to do, to get in the car and say, I'm not going to go there because I don't want to stoop to that level. I may have said something about plastic surgery. I'll be honest. I might have said something like that, but then I realized I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not going to lie to you. I did say something about plastic surgery, but then I left. So I get into the car and we're sitting there, all of us, and we're about to leave. And my wife says, I'm going back. And I said, are you sure? She goes, I'm going back. I said, all right. So she gets out of the car and she starts walking. I have it, but I can't play it. We did the video, and I have the video of my wife walking up to this woman, and we're doing the play-by-play. Now, for those of you who've seen my wife on reactions, you can tell, first of all, she's sassy. What you don't or may not know, my wife is the pure example of a mama bear. She really is. She's also, in situations like that, very, very calm. So she walks up, and this piece of trash says, oh, I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. I'm not going to talk to you. My wife goes, well, you're going to listen to me. And I'm going to speak, and you're going to listen. My 14-year-old walked by your dog because there was a dog off the leash. That is not a dog park. Well, we didn't have it. We walked by, and as we did, my daughter was startled. Well, she shouldn't have said anything. She's 14 years old. The husband then says to my wife, this is all a misunderstanding. It's a misunderstanding. He wanted nothing to do with this. He was embarrassed by this piece of filth. And eventually, my wife got to a place to where she then said, okay, just to let you hear this, the next time anything like that ever happens to you, if a kid is there, a child, address the parents. The husband apparently was going like this. Good points. The filth said nothing. And my wife walked away. But that was the kind of trip that it was. That's what we were running into. But it was also one of the reasons why, look, there are a lot of great people in LA, a lot of great friends that I've met, a lot of really good people. But when you think of the worst, like when people think of look, a stereotypical thing, when you think of New York, you think pizza, you think, hey, what are you going to do? You're going to fix the car? I'm going to fix the car. All right, yeah, let's go play some baseball. Great. That's what you think. Oh, what are you doing? Are you someone from New York? When you think of someone from LA, the bad parts of LA, it's that stink face, that horrible, horrible Chihuahua stink face. And I really hope somehow this video finds its way to her. You are horrible that you could do that to a 14-year-old. You're a horrible, horrible human. And no, this is the worst part. I didn't bring this up. As we're leaving, they had a kid. The kid shows up. The kid was nowhere near any of this when we were there. We saw it from the distance. But they had a kid. As a mother, how do you do that? If that is indeed your kid. I don't know, maybe she's like the rotten stepmom. What a loser. Anyway, so that's it. That's it. That was my story. I'm sticking to it. But man, it was incredible. It's incredible. What a loser she was. Oh, couldn't believe it. All right. We got more to talk about. And one of the main things, speaking of my 14-year-old, she's obsessed with this conformity theory thing. Obsessed with it. And if you aren't familiar with what's going on here, Stranger Things, the finale, it was last week. So we think. That's what everybody says. Are they releasing one last episode? The Conformity Gate fan theory explained as speculation begins to mount. Ever since the final episode of Stranger Things streamed on Netflix on New Year's Eve, a fan theory dubbed Conformity Gate has been circulating on social media. Claims that Chapter 8, The Rightside Up, with a 2-hour and 8-minute runtime, was not the true ending of the series. Instead, fans believe the happy ending that the Hawkins crew received as they moved on with their lives was actually an illusion created by Vecna, and that the true finale, Episode 9, will be released on Netflix on January 7, as in today. Stranger Things fans are calling it Conformity Gate because its conclusion in the epilogue represents a kind of forced conformity that goes against the show's core themes, which include breaking cycles and defying control. Neither Netflix nor the show's co-creators, Ross and Matt Duffer, have announced that there will be an episode 9 of Stranger Things. However, Netflix announced this week that it will release a documentary about the show, one last adventure, the making of season 5 on January 12th. Why do fans think another episode is coming out on the 7th? There are a few reasons. Netflix teased an event scheduled for January 7th that takes an early look at the streaming service's upcoming shows and movie titles. This announcement has led some fans to interpret it as a hint about Stranger Things news. Sometimes the universe shows you a sign. The narrator in the teaser video says you can brush it off, call it a coincidence, but I know you've got some questions. Luckily, no one said luckily, but lucky you, your future on its way. Even when you're not looking, it finds you. So go on. All you got to do is ask. Fans also believe January 7th is a significant date because it's Orthodox Christmas. All of Stranger Things 5 episodes drops have happened on major holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Eve. The number 7 also holds significance for fans because in the very first episode of season 1, the Hawkins crew is playing Dungeons and Dragons, and Will Byers rolls a 7 with the game die. The Demogorgon, it got me. Will later tells his friend Mike Wheeler, revealing the game's outcome. Fast forward to the finale, just before the credits roll, there's a shot of the die with the number 7 side up along Stranger Things player manual. Why do fans think that episode 9 is coming out? There's so many Easter eggs, coincidences, and inconsistencies in season 5 of Stranger Things that make it seem as if something is not quite right. According to some fans, it's all facade created by Vecna. Fans have also pointed out that Vecna's common pose is to sit or stand with his hands crossed in the exact same way, much like when he possesses characters like Billy Hargrove. In the finale, some viewers noticed that almost every single person in the graduation scene had their hands crossed in the same way as Vecna. This goes more and more into it. But here's the thing. And obviously, if you haven't seen, I should have said this beforehand, so I apologize. If not, if you haven't seen the finale, there's Stranger Things. You're going to get spoiled here. So my this is what I said in the beginning. I don't think that this is a thing. I don't think it's going to happen. But let's play into the fantasy that it does, right? It would be one of the most brilliant moves to me in television history, because the finale, as far as ratings go, regardless of what you thought about it, you watched it, and it was one of the most highest rated streaming finales like ever. And we'll go into those numbers in a second. And it crushed. If it wasn't the finale, and then it was the penultimate. And Jamie Kimmel Bauer was on Fallon last night, and he was on this little video, and on the video he said, "We'll see you tomorrow," or something along those lines. And he wasn't referring to it as as the finale. He was referring to it as episode 8. If you watch that episode, there's sometimes when I think that fans come up with things, and I think things are far-fetched. And I think that it's so far-fetched that it's like you're reaching. There's a lot here that you can say, I get why you would think that. And if it does to play out, it would be brilliant. And like I said, there's spoilers here. So if you haven't seen it, one of the things in the epilogue, where first of all, the epilogue is pretty long, and yes, you can say that it is a finale. And this is really where I stand. It's a finale, and it's Lord of the Rings finale. They're showing how everything wraps up, and that's where it is. And that's ultimately where I stand. However, if you look at it, there are things that happen. The one thing that I will debunk is people said there's a scene where Hopper is proposing to Joyce, and in the back there are people whispering and they're pointing and they're looking at the camera. The guy's proposing at a restaurant. That's what they're doing. And then the same guy who's looking back, why is that guy looking back? Because he's looking at the fucking guy who's proposing in the restaurant. And at the end, that same guy goes, "Hey, she said yes." So the stuff at the high school, though, the colors, this is the stuff that my daughter is telling me. The colors for the Hawkins school for the entire was one color, but the color that they're wearing at that scene were the colors when Henry was younger. There's a restaurant that Will brings up that wasn't open. It was only open during Henry's time. Steve didn't play baseball, yet he's coaching baseball. Henry knew him from using the bat. Again, it's just stuff that you could see why people would come up with it. The holding of the signs, these other things. There's tons of things inside. Like, I hated the scene with Dustin ripping his shirt off and doing this whole thing. And first of all, he was never that type of kid. And for that, everyone would be like, "Yeah, he did it." And first of all, how's Max at this graduation, being in a coma for 2 years, all these other things? So if they did explain it, it would be like, oh, wait, those problems that you have with the writing, maybe you shouldn't have problems with it, because it was something completely different. There's a lot of strange, and the two things that really stood out to me, like bizarre, was that, like, it's so weird. That tone was so bizarre when he rips off his shirt and he's got the Hellfire thing and he's doing that, and he's this one character, whoever the guy was, the principal, whatever, going against the system and all. It was out of left field. But then the other thing that was weird, Max has changed kind of dramatically, and she's been like this power of force, is force of power rather, and when she's they're playing D&D at the end, out of nowhere she starts like just wrecking shop and making a mess, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, she's just being totally violent in the corner. That's cool." The theory is that everybody kind of turned into their worst fear through Vecna. If you're watching Mike, he's dressed like his dad. He's doing this. Will, who doesn't smoke, hated that his mom smoked, is smoking a cigarette at the end. He's wearing a leather jacket like his dad. His dad was not, a good dude, and yet he's wearing this jacket. Nancy has essentially turned into her mom. She drops out of school. Her whole thing was that she wanted to be in school. She drops out of school. They never mention Robin's girlfriend really at all, and apparently that's because Vecna doesn't know her. So there's a lot there. There's a lot there. Now, if I was going to bet, if I was going to Vegas today and they said you can only bet yes or no, do you think a new episode of Stranger Things is dropping today and you have $500? I'm betting no. I'm betting no. And so for someone who wrote, and this is the question that I had, if there was a secret episode, it would have leaked. So I agree with you there. However, you have to register all the episodes until there's like legally the amount of episodes are until you release it. So they could register it today and it could not be leaked if they held it quiet. Now, the chances of that are slim to none. I happen to agree with you. I think that if there was a secret episode, someone would know. Now, here's the other side of it. If there is not a secret episode, I think the Duffers have truly dropped the ball. Not because they didn't do a secret episode. Because right now, this has caught fire. And there's a lot there in general that they've been asked about it, right? They've been asked about it. People, and Don, I want to get the answer of like, well, but people are still talking about it. They should address this real quick. Because I would know. I was like, hey, thank you, but there's no new episode coming out. I love the theories, but there's no new episode. By allowing it to build, it's like people get pissed off. You don't have an obligation to do that. You don't have an obligation at all to do that. You don't have an obligation at all. But the smart move would be no. There's nothing at all. No, see, that's I hate that answer. I hate that answer. Netflix doesn't want to address it because engagement is good. Everyone's talking about it anyway. Everyone's already talking about it. People are already going there and looking at it. You can say no, nip it in the bud because because if it doesn't happen, it's really gonna piss people off. But yeah, and I don't. There's a lot more there though in these theories that I understand why it caught fire. I really do. I really do understand why it caught fire. But anyway, that's my thoughts on it. Fair. I said, I hate that. Don't say hate. But I do hate that. There's a difference. I said I don't, when I don't hate, I do hate when people say that. So there are certain, I don't hate the person who said it, but I hate when they say that. So I can say hate. I just can't. I don't see you can't ever say it. Just don't abuse it. So anyway, yeah. Oh, this is another point. Luke just brought this up too. If you go to Netflix right now and you type in fake ending, Stranger Things pops up. If you type in randomly episode 9, nothing else, not Stranger Things, just episode 9, Stranger Things pops up. Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know what it means. But either way, not sure. Okay. I think there's another Stranger Things story. It does. Yeah. Stranger Things finale, it hits the all-time charts. So let's see what it is on the actual charts itself. I'll bring this up. Hold on. And here we go. Here's the charts. Stop this. Today even people who are loyal fans are getting put in timeout. Just because. You can come back. You can decide you want to come back or not come back. I prefer that you did, that particular person, but I like throwing people out sometimes. It's fun. I like throwing people out even when they don't deserve it. I'm gonna pick someone random and throw them out for doing absolutely nothing. You might have been being nice the whole show, and I'm gonna throw you out. Someone's getting thrown out right now. I don't know who it is. I'm gonna throw somebody out. Then you can come back and say it was me, and I'll highlight you. Say who was nice. Let's see. Yeah. I just I just threw out one of the nicest people in the world. Threw somebody out for no reason at all. Just threw them out. Hopefully he comes back because I like him a lot. Okay. Stranger Things. Throw me out. All right. Good. Get lost. Hey, did I miss you? Wait, hold on. Someone asked me to throw him out. I'm going to throw him out. Throw me out. You're out. Back later. All right. Stranger Things final run hits all-time charts. You know what I want to do? I wonder what would happen if I threw the entire chat out. Would it still register the I don't even know if you can even do that. Hilarious. Throw everybody out. All right. So Stranger Things final run hits all-time charts, which I don't think is going to shock anyone. With the release of the series finale on New Year's Eve, the 5th season of Netflix Stranger Things already joined Netflix list of most popular English language TV titles of all time. The season has reached 105.7 million views so far across all 8 episodes, but the all-time list counts across each title's first 91 days of viewing. When split into multiple volumes parts, the 91-day window applies to each volume separately, and each total is added together. That means the 5th season won't hit its final numbers until March 31st. Plenty of time to keep it pushing up higher. First season of Wednesday still remains at the chart topper at 252. That's shocking to me. Followed by Adolescence with 142. And the 4th season of Stranger Things in 2022 with 140. The season was also the most watched title of the week, December 29th to January 4th on Netflix, with 5 days availability on the finale. The final season reached 31.5 million views overall. Netflix debuted the final concurrently in cinemas, where it earned more than 25 million. That's pretty great. I didn't realize that, with most of that going to exhibitors. I didn't realize it made 25 million. That's big. Did anybody go and see it in a theater? How did it play on big screen? 4th previous seasons also made the charts for the week in 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 8th place. Harlan Coben's Runaway came in 2nd with 12.7. That's great. No. I didn't throw everybody out, Carl. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so this is big news in general. Big news. And I think that if there was a bonus episode, this would catapult them over Wednesday, I think, if they did that. But I'm not sure. But this is no one's surprise. This is one of the most popular shows in the last 10 years, and this is the series finale. And it did very well, regardless of what you thought about it. I didn't love the finale. I didn't mind the season. I didn't love the finale. If that was the finale, and I believe it was, I didn't love the finale. I thought that there was a lot of loose ends and a lot of strange things, pun intended, that happened that didn't make a lot of sense. I thought the writing wasn't as strong. Season 4, I thought was brilliant. Love season 4. One of my favorite seasons in television. But the tone was kind of all over the place. The characters were a bit inconsistent. There was, I didn't love it. There was some weird shit going on, and some long dialogue and long scenes that just didn't make sense. And the thing with Max and Holly in the middle of they're having a podcast in the middle of the freaking, right before they're jumping through portals. That whole scene bothered me. It's like they're having this long conversation. You don't know how long the portal's going to stay open for, first of all. Secondly, oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to hang out with my friends. You? Good luck to you, kid. Yeah, I don't know. And then it did well. It's one of those shows. Look, no matter what, even if there is some kind of bonus episode, people have a problem with that too, whatever it turns out to be. Oh, the other question I have for you guys, I guess related to all this, is: did you also see there was a deleted scene, and it wasn't AI? It was an actual deleted scene from season 5 of Mike standing by a graveyard. Now, again, spoilers for people if you haven't seen it, so you should turn this off because I don't want to spoil it for you. You've been warned. My answer was, well, it was probably just a scene where they probably, Hopper wanted to make sure that Elle was buried or something, and so they put a grave scene, and that's probably would be the answer. But then again, they didn't want people to know she existed, and they want other things. So whose grave was he at? If not, Yeah. I don't know. So, all right. Oh, yeah, you know what? This is good too, by the way. So there's a Discord for this channel apparently that Princess Positive has run, and then we put it in the game. People kept trying to join it from the Game of Thrones stuff, and I kept getting um, comments that it wasn't working. So I guess this one does work. There's a Discord. Be nice to people and go over there and hang out. All right, let's go to this one because this is another question. Oh, you know what? This is the one that we should do. We should do this too. And how many questions do we have right now, by the way? 16. Sweet. Okay. So let me bring this up because we've talked about it many times over. The hostile takeover. The hostile takeover by Paramount. Well, Warner Brothers says beat it. We want your takeover bid. Stick it in your shitter. The revised tender offer for Warner Brothers Discovery that was filed just before Christmas by David Ellison's Paramount Skydance was rejected by the board once again. Why did they subject themselves to this? I don't understand. Why did they subject themselves to this humiliation again? Why would you do that? The WBD board released a letter this morning to its shareholders recommending rejection of the new offer and sticking with its signed agreement with Netflix. The all-cash offer, priced at $30 per share, reportedly included Larry Ellison personally promising a full backstop on the deal, along with an increase of the termination fee to $5.8 billion to match Netflix. In a letter, the board says the changes were not enough. Your board unanimously determined that the PSKY amend offer remains inadequate, particularly given the insufficient value it would provide, the lack of certainty in PSKY's ability to complete the offer, and the risks and costs borne by WBD shareholders should PSKY fail to complete the offer. WBD calls the revised offer the largest LBO leveraged buyout in history and a much riskier bet, as financing arrangements could easily be jeopardized. They say the aggressive transaction structure poses materially more risk for Warner Brothers and its shareholders when compared to the Netflix merger. Ouch. That's brutal. That is brutal. Ouch. It's like almost like you got to back up and say, all right, we wash our hands here. We're done. We gave it a shot. It didn't work out. Because this is embarrassing at this point. It's like what, the third or fourth offer that they put on the table, and one was like, get out of here. We already look. You asked us out. We thought about going out with you. We didn't like your bow tie that you wore to the dance, so we went with the guy that was wearing the tux. And he doesn't change his tux. We like his tux. Stop trying to add bells and whistles to your stupid zoot suit. It's not working. We don't like you. We're not attracted to you. Stop it. Stop sending flowers to the house. We don't want them. So there you go. There's really not much more you can say to that. You got to stop at this point. You got to give up. What they're going to do next, they're probably going to try to, buy Universal or something. I think they should, with all this money that they have. It's funny because I'm trying to get a politician that I'm trying to get on the UFO show. And one of the things I was going to ask is why not reach out to, because one of the main things, if you follow that topic, is that a main reason these whistleblowers don't speak is they're not protected. There's no protection program for them. The amount of money that it would take. Like someone like an Ellison could afford to fund that program. Be that guy. Fund that. Be the new Bigelow. Fund that. Let's give this up because you're not getting Warner Brothers. Not going to happen. All right. Put your thoughts in there. Let me know. What do you think? All right. Let's get to the questions. Roxy and Mike yesterday had, as I said, 86. Let's go ahead and beat them. My first show back. And with 17, it makes me think you don't like me. All right. First one. Johnny Patriza. Hope you had a good New Year's, Kristian. I didn't. But I told you my story. Why? Nonetheless, I got to hang out with I took time off and was able to at least disconnect for a little bit, at least be with the family a lot. That was nice. But the New Year's Eve itself, oh, brutal, brutal. That freaking shit hotel. Next question. We are going to, thank you again. We got 17 questions thus far, and hoping to get to 90 today. Can we do it? No. All right. Seeing what's happening. I'm going through a lot of these questions. You know what? Let's do it this way. Let's start here. Joey, the guy that I threw out, by the way, one of the nicest human beings in the world, contributing to a Disney World for your trip for your kids. Thank you, Joey. Look, it's going to take quite a bit to get them there. But I think one of the reasons also, as I was going, the pilot is coming up soon with the heavy push towards it. I'm going back to LA again and as telling you guys one more week. I think Roca and Winston are hosting on Monday. Roxy and Michael hosting it on Tuesday. As I will be out of town again for the pilot with some stuff that we're working on. But I should have more stuff for you guys soon. Alex, support user release 4. We hit 4. There we go. Zort 1. What's up, Zort? I know you've been busy. Welcome back. By the way, have you seen The Plague? No, I hear good things, though. That movie wrecked me. I know. I heard Snyder tweet him. I heard it was really good. Didn't see it, though. But apparently everyone who saw it said it was really, really solid. Husker for Life. Thoughts on Photor? You mean KOTOR? I don't know if you talked about it. Photor. Husker, you tell me what Photor is. Is it Knights of the Republic? Is that what you meant? Instead of F? How far is... No, the F is too far away from the K on the keyboard to mess that up. Photor. I don't know what Photor is. I'm sorry. So I don't know if I talked about it. I'm not sure. Does anybody else know what it is? Who called me? Someone called me. Let's see who called me. Do you think it was my wife? Probably was, right? She usually calls around this time. No. Let me see. Okay, let's see if this is good. I'm hoping this is a good news text voicemail and not a bad one. Let's see. Orange Grove. Is the cinematic universe model dead? Should Marvel evolve into more standalone films? Not yet. We got to see. I think there's something to be said about having a standalone, almost Elseworlds type thing like DC's doing, which I think is a very smart move. I think there's something that Marvel could do there. That would be great. Yeah. The DX Batman 1. Hello there. Yesterday's episode isn't on Spotify. None of the episodes from last week are on Spotify because I haven't. My computer wasn't working. There was nothing that I could do about it. Luke and PLD can only do so much. And I just couldn't do it. This one will be up on Spotify. I'll try to get the other ones up there too. But it's the same reason where people, oh my God, even Roxy yesterday commenting on the Raycon thing. Oh, the Christmas stuff. Oh, if you get your thing in now, Christmas time. I could not shoot another ad. I wasn't able to do it. I shot it today. Got it up there. So there we go. Next one. Armada 8YT. Welcome back. Okay. Sorry about the travel problems. It happens. It happens. Clay Titus 1. You should watch the They Will Kill You trailer or react. Looks like a fun time. Who's in that? I don't even know who that is. Who's in that? Go, pal. I hate that this person is a Chihuahua. Having heard Kenny's Chihuahua stories about his Franny. Did you catch up with Ken in LA? I did not. I didn't see Ken. But I don't know. What was the story? Yeah, but that I'm like, look, I've seen there's many Chihuahuas that are great. And like I said, my daughter was just saying, "Oh look, Chihuahua," because you don't know they're moody. Oh, look, a human. Oh, that'd be nice. Johnny Patriza, the third Doomsday trailer got me so hyped. I watched it yesterday. I watched it on the plane actually. It looks great. I really like that they kind of that's how they're gonna get you with the X-Men. Crash and Coyote, thanks for the content over New Year's. My grandma passed from old age, so your videos helped. I'm sorry for your loss, and I'm glad that the videos were able to help you out. Hold your loved one close. P.S. Is there a way to bypass Kickstarter? What do you mean as far as bypassing it? You mean just like contributing? Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to hold on first because let me really get to what this campaign is and what we're doing before we start because I just things I can't talk about yet. But when we do, there'll be ways to contribute in kind of meaningful ways. Go, pal. I think the only time we've seen baseball season was season 4 when it was spring break, and also Steve graduated between 1 and 2, right? Yes, he was. I mean, he was with the same class as Nancy, so yeah. But he never really showed an interest in baseball, did he? Crash and Cody. What I mean by bypass Kickstarter is there a possibility to direct Shark Tank like investments so it goes direct to you for pilot instead? Potentially, again. So there will be. I don't want to keep repeating myself, especially with such a nice comment here, but it would sound like a broken record. But what we're going to do is this is going to be a very not traditional kind of campaign of how we're doing this and what we're doing. So it will give people an opportunity to do what you're talking about. But I've got to be able to introduce people and really show you what the plan is. So you'll have an answer to that question once everything can be explained. Okay. Shay, there's a chance for another ending, but I also don't buy it, man. Yeah, me either. However, I'm not as convinced they're willing to let this world end like I once was. Same. So I'm with you, Shay. Like, it's more so like I think that it's not going to happen. But if it does, I'd be like, okay, I get why you did that. And I tell you, it would be one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen. Butt Smasher 69. Have you heard the idea that the reason the writing was so dull for Stranger Things season 5 is because Netflix has a second screen viewing mandate? No, what's that? I don't even know what that is. What does that entail? A second screen viewing mandate. What does that entail? Please let me know. Joey Pedro, what did your oldest think of the finale? Curious what people are on the same age as the character. She did not like it. She did not like the finale at all. But she's hoping that there's another episode to basically, negate the problems she had with it. That's what she's on. She's very much, she's obsessed with it. That's all she talked about last night. I love my 14-year-old. I love both my kids. I love my 14-year-old's, her imagination, she gets so fixated on these things and everything too. And I love talking to her about it. But last night when we were getting back from JFK, and I'm listening to all these things. I'm listening to everything she's saying, but like we're waiting for this person who's picking us up, and she's still, but Dad, and there's other theories, and I never once would shut up. I was like, I get it, I understand. I said, talk about it to me in the car, please, because she's so locked into it, and I've been there, I've done it. She's very locked in. CLK, thoughts on the official X-Men Doomsday teaser? Loved it. That was great. I want to see more. I want to see how they're going to lock in. Loved it. Dark Smirk 1. Stranger Things in theaters was Avengers packed. Had gasping, crying, and F yeah yelled. Maybe in theaters made me like it more. Hoping for a good follow-up series. I can see that. I can totally see that. I can see why a theater experience probably elevated it tremendously. It makes all the sense in the world. Oh, so FOTOR is Fate of the Old Republic, the new game. No, I haven't seen the trailer for it. It's like I've just been teased by the Old Republic so many times in great trailers and everything. I'm sure it's wonderful, but let's wait for the game to actually come out, and I'll definitely play it when it comes out. But right now, no. Eclipse 77. Michael B. Jordan was robbed for Sinners. For Critics' Choice, it's funny you say that. I had this debate at the table I was at, and when I was there, I was discussing it with a few critics, and the woman I was sitting with, she was convinced that Michael B. Jordan was going to win. I said, I don't know. I think it's going to be between Chalamet and Leo. If I was voting, look, I think what Michael B. Jordan did in Sinners was extraordinary. He not only had to make you forget it was Michael B. Jordan. He had to make you believe that it wasn't Michael B. Jordan twice, and significantly change and say, oh, that's Stack, that's Smoke. And he did it flawlessly. It's one of my favorite movies of the year. It's in my top 10. But my opinion, I think that Leo and Chalamet had stronger performances in the two movies that they were in. And I actually probably would have Leo. I had Leo slightly over Chalamet, but I could have gone flip flop. Chalamet's winning everything this year, in my opinion. So I don't think he was robbed. I think that in my opinion, I think he lost against the guy that's probably going to win the Oscar. Husker for life, Faded the Republic. Yes, thank you. The Brandon Salad, first time super chatter. Love the content, Kristian. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you for the first time. Thank you for the kind words. Excited for the boys this year. So I can't say that I am. Not because I don't like the show. I haven't even seen the last season of it. I didn't have a chance to watch it, and then I never got back into it. I didn't want, and I really liked, was it Project V? Is that what the name of it is? Or Gen V, right? And I like season 1, and I didn't watch season 2 because I kept hearing, well, you got to watch the last season of The Boys. And it's like, it's a lot of homework. So I'll probably wait to hear what people say about it before checking it out. But we'll see. But I'm excited for people who love The Boys. Armada, did you talk to any celebrities at CCA? So yes, but I was like, look, I took my wife this year, and my again, for you guys who don't really know my wife, she is not in the Hollywood scene, nor does she really care to be. She's not fascinated by celebrity culture. She's not, it doesn't fascinate her. She's not not her jam. Like, she's not like in awe of celebrities or anything. She couldn't give a shit, but she wanted to go to the show, and she had a good time. She dressed up, she had fun, had a good time. But the cool thing was, we sat at the Netflix table with K-pop and In Your Dreams. We sat with Alex Wu, the director, and Arden Cho and May. And oh man, that was cool. Like, they all said how much they enjoyed my interviews with them all so that was nice to hear. And then the other thing that was really great, I get back, I was making the rounds and talking to people, and as I get back, my wife's just casually talking to Craig Robinson, which was nice. He was sitting at our table. So, and he was, couldn't have been a nicer dude. Chill. Just a really chill, nice dude, talking to everybody at the table. And it was hilarious because there was one point, there's some song, like we mentioned, there's like a couple songs, my wife's name in it. And then he starts singing this song. What the hell was that? Shit, I should ask her what the name of it was, but he starts singing some song, and we listened to it on the way home. It was, he was great. He was great. So talk to him. And then I went and I spoke and I talked to the two. What I usually do when I go there, I was also tired, and I wanted to just hang out with my wife and watch the show. And I did that for the majority of it. And I talked to some other people, but I had some people on my mind that I wanted to talk to. I really wanted to talk to Jesse Buckley. I didn't get a chance to do that, but I ran into Mark Ruffalo again. And I spoke to Mark Ruffalo for quite a bit. And we were talking about Task. We talked about our conversation we had last time when I saw him. And he very humble guy. And we talked about Tom Pelford, who is his co-star in Task. Talked about him for quite a while. And it was just it was a nice conversation. So that was it. That was it. Shay Markel, hey buddy, you hear Dune 3 is keeping the date? I think it's a massive error. I think that is hubris. I think it's a massive, massive error. Haskell 420. Yo, man, did you see the X-Men teaser Marvel dropped? I did. Watched it yesterday on the plane. Also, Hugh Jackman's Death of Robin Hood trailer looks hardcore and fantastic. I'm nervous about that one, though. I'm nervous because remember, the trailer for the Ridley Scott one looked pretty good too, but it wasn't. I don't like when they mess with the lore of Robin Hood, because apparently he's not a good guy. He's a bad guy, but they made tales of him that he was a good guy. But could turn out great. I haven't watched the trailer though. But the teaser for Marvel for X-Men, I'm down. Sirius Brooklyn. What is Ford Tour? Yeah, that is the Republic. Sirius Brooklyn. Why do you hate four-door? Four-door. Karen Von der Merden, 5054. Hi, are you going to watch the Pit Season 2 tomorrow? I am not. It was funny because when it won everything. when we were at the Critics' Choice Awards. Won everything. My wife and I were talking about it when we were watching them go up, and she's like, we just, for me, it's, I like watching things with her, but for her, she can't watch medical procedural stuff. She just can't. She does not a hospital person. Those things can't. They're not too good with the medical stuff at all. When we started watching the beginning of it, and of season 1, and just when he's walking on the street and goes right into, she's like, I'm not gonna be able to handle this show. Like, all right, hear nothing but great things about the show. I mean, everybody loves it, but no, I won't be watching it. Butt Smasher 69. Second screen viewing is where Netflix intentionally dumbs down their content so people still watch. So people watching while still on their phone don't get lost. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. If that's true, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. What? Why would you? I would never want to put anything on it. Why would you do that? I hope that's not true. That shouldn't be a thing anywhere. That shouldn't be that. Oh my God! Please no. That really, it just takes away from what made your show special in the first place. Boomer bust. Should streaming be more regulated? How much stock do you put into reported numbers when metrics aren't verified and companies measure differently? That's a great point. Of course, it should be more regulated. Yes, we should know exactly what are the accurate numbers, because why should I believe you? Absolutely. Wiley OFC. Not trying to be rude, but vacation sounds like a Griswold vacation movie experience. There's nothing that you said there that was rude. What you said was factual. Sorry, it went bad. That was the farthest thing from rude, Wiley. You nailed it. It's exactly what it was. I might as well play Holiday Road. 100%. The Cali Kid, 4360. Marty Supreme is my favorite movie of 2025. I think it's a masterpiece. Also, Timothy Chalamet and Gwyneth Paltrow are amazing. Everybody's rating it. It made my top 10. I think it was like number 8. It was lower on the list, but it's definitely in there for sure. Princess Positive 4056. I'm sorry, I think I fixed the Discord link so it won't expire. Posted it on the GOT video and responded to those who tried. New link is, oh, there it is. 72 members now. That's because we've been pushing it, I guess, right? How many did you have, Positive? Now we know. I'm glad. Yale Rojo became a new YouTube member. Thank you. All right, so for members and for patrons, I think what I'm going to start doing is that, and I think that this is something that you guys will like, and please tell me in the comments if it is something that you would like. I believe what I'm going to start doing is, because normally what I've been doing is, the reaction will come out. Let's say it's Game of Thrones episodes 5 and 6. And then at the same time, the unedited comes out and you guys can watch that if you wish. Would you prefer, as members and patrons, and would it incline you to join if I posted those a few days earlier, the unedited ones? Let me know. Michael, what's up, Michael? Happy New Year to you and your family, Kristian. Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate that. Nathan Drake, why are they handing out awards on a red carpet at the CCA? That was a little disrespectful. Were they handing out the awards on the red carpet? What were they handing out? I know that there was a few awards I was curious about of why they didn't announce, because you know what it was? They're trying to condense the show. And they only have so much time on the air. But I don't know what they were doing on the red carpet though. Big Black Fan 89, which will come out in the next 3 years, a Predator sequel or Alien sequel, maybe a Mother effing Batman sequel. Batman sequel will definitely going to come out. They're moving towards that. I mean, even we can get to the story today, but Sebastian Stan is rumored for, and they're starting to rumor cast. We're in that phase now where the movie's moving. They're going to be doing that movie. Predator or Alien? I think you probably get an Alien sequel before you get a Predator one. Cat Mom for Jedi. Have a wonderful 2026. You too. Thank you so much. As always. Rocky McFly. I feel like the end credits of Stranger Things episode 8 would not have been those credits if it wasn't the actual finale. It had a sense of finality that I think that would have saved for the real finale. So there's two sides to that. The first side is I agree with you 100%, which is, yes, it certainly seems that way. And it seems like that's what it was intended for. The flip side to that is if it's a ruse, that's what you can do. You make it seem, if you're going to do a real ruse, you put together something that seems like that's it. That's the end. And then you show the fake one. And then at SGMMA 4680, what if Callie was working for Vecna the whole time. They said they were supposed to be a traitor in the whatever. What happened to Linda Hamilton? She's kind of disappeared. Johnny Patrizia, have you watched any New Japan Pro Wrestling? No. Kenny Omega versus Okada at Wrestling Kingdom 11 is a fantastic match. I haven't. I watched Raw the other night. Was kind of disappointed by it, to be honest. Okay. Studying Fro, here's the next Disney trip. Studying Fro, you are the man. So Fernando is to me is I've met some great people. I've met some great people through doing this, and Fernando's one of those people. Was so kind in trying to help us get to Disneyland, was genuinely concerned when I told him I couldn't make it. I wasn't able to answer him back right away, so I had to follow back up with him, let him know what was going on. And when I did let him know what was going on, he was very supportive and kind, and he's always willing to try to help out. So Fernando's one of the good ones. You're a good dude. Your family's lucky to have you. Dark Smirk 1, thoughts on a Shadow of the Empire show or movie? This is an answer that I'll probably have for any type of what do you think of this type of movie? It's like, it depends on who's in charge, and it depends on how it's approached. Because I just don't know if I see any of those people delivering on that stuff. So in theory, great. But it's the same thing. Like, would you like to see a Darth Plagueis novel? Yeah, but who's doing it? What team is doing it, and what's the overall potential? All right, look, 44. Okay, not the worst, but we did what we did, and I hope you guys had a good show with me today. Tomorrow, I think Steph's back, so it'll be myself and Steph. Friday we'll do Capes and Cows. And then tomorrow so Sam's getting over being sick, so we're trying to get her back in here to do some stuff, to do some Game of Thrones things. So just bear with me. Cali Kid, vapes, gummies, edibles. So Mood. I had mood.com. I don't have a sponsor anymore, but they were. I like whether gummies is really good. Gummies really good. Haskell, if Conformity episode is legit with the real ending, should those who saw the series finale in theaters be PO'd if they got duped for playing a fake ending? See, now that to me would be the main thing. That is a great point that no one has really brought up, because you can get people real pissed off at the theater for saying, I bought tickets because I was told that was the finale, and that's why I bought tickets. So, whether or not they won that or not, but they'd have an argument. Yeah, it's really good. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. You guys rule. Appreciate the support. We'll be back probably pretty soon.
Gotta milk that teat. Gotta milk that teat.
Please.
Fair enough.